Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished Manchester City 3, Aston Villa 1. And City back to form, I would say, and right on time because they've got a big game against Arsenal in midweek. I remember what I said about Ten Hag. Right? I talked about how it was a tactical masterclass because some of the things that he did were risky, but they came off, and had they not come off, he would have looked stupid. I think you could say the same about Pep Guardiola today. Some of the things that he did were very, very risky. I liked it. I like some of the things that he did, but if it hadn't come off, he really would look stupid. Particularly with Bernardo Silva, his positioning on the field, it could have backfired badly, but it didn't. And I think it looks like a genius and a masterstroke in hindsight. Talking about that formation shape, though, I like the fact that it was 3-6. I'm getting right into it here, but I thought it was in the first half it was a 3-6-1. And I thought that was a good. What that did was it allowed City to have six midfielders. It's a Pep Guardiola fetish, isn't it? It's like the dream fetish, isn't having as many midfielders as you can have on the field. Six midfielders, nominally six midfielders. And what I think it was designed, because I think last week against Spurs, I think they played a 3-5-1-1. So they had two forwards. They played five midfielders. I think so. Pep said, "Fine, five doesn't work. I'm going to play six." And I think six. And I think what he's trying to do here, I think he's trying to control that midfield. I think he just feels that he needs more control in that middle of the park to be able to allow Haaland or whoever to be able to get those chances. And I think that's what he is going to do. And I don't know if this is going to be permanent, but I think that this is the direction that he's taking it, and he's going towards a back three with as many midfielders as he can pack in. So he packed in six today. I thought, but I think where Villa went wrong, they were helped, of course, by the fact that Villa played a 4-4-2, which was a disaster anyway. When you play a 4-4-2 against, it's a disaster anyway when you play against City, and when they play five-man midfields. But to play it against a six-man midfield, they never had a chance, did they? But they were disappointed with the goals that were considered. The first one off a corner, poor marking, really. Rodri just allowed a free header. I think Martinez could have done better with the save as well. He lets it. It's a near post. He's probably got to be able to be a little bit stronger, but he kind of doesn't. And fight that early 4th-minute goal. It's not ideal in a game away from home at the Etihad. You don't want to be conceding that early, but he did. It becomes 1-0, and then City just kind of controlled the game. I never thought. I don't think Aston Villa ever looked in it in that first half. I don't think they ever looked like they were going to score. There were a couple of moments where they were getting a few short breakaways, but they were not really creating much with sustained pressure. And it becomes 2-0 very quickly. Callum Chambers, I don't know what he's trying to do over there with that. That was a wonderful pass from De Bruyne. But surely, it's got to be. It's actually not a wonderful pass. I'm giving it too much credit. It's not a wonderful pass. It's just a ball over the top. And Chambers got to do better, but he just heads it. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to head it towards Martinez, so Martinez can catch it, but he just goes wrong side, and it just it goes nowhere. And Haaland gets onto it. And maybe he heard the fact that Haaland doesn't do anything other than scoring. So he said, "Fine, today I will create a goal." And he creates a goal for Gundogan, and Gundogan's a tap-in finish for him. It's 2-0, and at that point it looked like it was game over. It probably was game over. Villa just didn't have any answers, and then it becomes 3-0. 3-0. Was that a penalty? For me, it was not. If his name was not Jack Grealish, if he wasn't English, he wouldn't get that penalty. The only reason he gets that penalty is because he's Jack Grealish and because he's English. That is not a penalty by any such imagination. It's not a penalty. It's way too soft. There's barely any contact. He kind of trips himself over. It's not a penalty for me. It was a blatant. That's what Jack Grealish does. He dives and he gets fouls, and that's what he's there. That's literally all. Sometimes that's literally all he's there to do, is to win fouls and penalties, and that's what he did. He won a penalty. He bought a penalty basically, and Mahrez converts. It's 3-0. Some might say it doesn't matter, but if you think about it, when Villa came back in the second half, if they were coming back from 2-0, that goal that came in the second half could have been something. But nonetheless, 3-0 at the end of the first half, and then Pep makes it switch. He goes to a 4-3-3 in the second half, and I thought that didn't work. I think if he's going to work, it's going to be 3-6. If he's going to play the 3-6-1, that works, but playing a 4 doesn't work, because he played Bernardo Silva as a left back. That's not going to work in big games. You can't play that way. I think maybe he wanted to see if he could actually get away with it, and he tried to play the back 4 play. They were 3-0 up. He thought, it's a good time to try something, because with 3-0 up, even if something goes wrong, we still have a 3-goal cushion. But I don't think that worked. And that goal then came because Bernardo Silva loses the ball. It falls to Luiz. Luiz was a nice pass to Watkins. Akanji, for some reason, just decides to stop midway. I don't know what's going on with him there. And Ederson doesn't save it. I mean, Ederson, for me, is certainly one of the worst shot stoppers in the league at the moment, because it just seems like he doesn't have a save in him. He did pull off a good save later on, I think from Watkins it was, but he just looks like he doesn't. Oh no, it was Coutinho actually, not Watkins. Coutinho pulled off a save from, but he just looks like if you get a good proper connection on a shot that's a little bit towards one of the corners, it's very difficult for him to save it. I don't know what it is about him, but yeah, his shot stopping doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. He's still a good goalkeeper on the other aspects, so maybe that's what Pep likes. Don't worry about the shot shopping, because we'll make sure we don't get too many shots, but the other things are important as well. But anyway, 3-1 in the end. It bodes well for them, for Arsenal. We've got a big game there, and that's going to be. I mean, Arsenal are kind of stuttering, so I at this moment I have City as favourites. I would have had City as favourites even if Arsenal won their game, but for sure City are favourites, because they're playing at home. They'll be up for it. I mean, what we saw today was a City crowd that was completely up for it. There's a sense of injustice around Manchester City at the moment, obviously, with everything that's going on the field. Wrongly so, in my opinion. I don't think there's any injustice happening, but that's opinions, right? At the end of the day, there is a sense of injustice, and so the fans are kind of up for it. Everybody's up for it. The players are probably up for it. I mean, think about the players' point of view. They're probably going, well, they're going to take away our titles from us, so let's win a few more. Maybe that's the message that maybe Pep Guardiola is giving as well. But it's a big game coming up, and but I think it will be serious defining. So this result was really important for them to grab hold of, to get a game, not just to win, but to make some sort of statement. I think that first half was a bit of a statement performance as well, that we're not going away that easily. So lots to watch out for. We'll of course do, we'll see what we can do in terms of preview, but that will be an exciting game to watch, of course. But yeah, Villa, I mean, 4-4-2. That was where they lost it. I mean, just playing a 4-4-2. You don't play a 4-4-2 in a game against Manchester City ever. You don't do that. And to play a 4-4-2, I mean, even if they started with a 4-4-2, they may not have known that they were playing against 6 midfielders. But as soon as Unai Emery saw it, he should have kind of switched it. Maybe go to a 4-5-1, maybe switch to a back 3. Something you've got to switch, because playing 4 against 6 is asking for trouble anyway. But nonetheless, that's a conversation. But they've got to play Arsenal next. And most Arsenal fans will hope that they will lose again. But as it so happens often, they'll probably have beaten City now. They'll probably go and beat Arsenal. And that's how it goes. Anyway, let me know what you thought of the game, of course, and share your comments below. I have Rodri man of the match. Yeah, I think that you couldn't go wrong with Rodri, De Bruyne, Gundogan. I think all of them had good games. And midfield had a good game. It's a little bit disappointed with Alvarez, though. I thought he could have done better. And I was surprised that Haaland came off when he did at halftime, because, yeah, I know they've got a big game against City, but just to me feels like he's almost like trying to wrap him up very, 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 very tightly in cotton wool, because he often does that. They go 3-0 up or 4-0 up at halftime, and then he just takes him off, even if he scored or not scored. I wonder what's going on there. Maybe he's trying to manage his injuries or something. But anyway, let me know what you thought. Of course, do smash a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. 1 away from 100 subscribers at the moment, so please do subscribe so we can on Facebook, 100 followers, so please do follow us. Appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again with one more reaction video later on for the Barcelona game, so do stay tuned for that one. Take care. Bye-bye.